Yeah, you know, certainly those bands of heavier snow moving through, Monica and Jamie. Of course, a lot of people kind of over this at this point, right? It's the middle of March. We're coming up on St. Patrick's Day, but if you've been in New Hampshire for any appreciable amount of time, you know that we get these kind of storms late in the season. And the good news is up in the ski resorts, they are really starting to cash in. So some fresh powder to enjoy, certainly for late week and the upcoming weekend. Pat's Peak, that's actually lost power today and is closed right now, has picked up a foot of snow. Hopefully they can reopen in the next day or so and get out and enjoy some of the fresh snow on the slopes. Ragged Mountain, 9 inches of snow. Waterville Valley, Gunstock, Attitash, all between about 7 and 8 inches of snow to this point. Of course, visibility has been lower in some of the heavier bands of snow through southern and central parts of the state right now. When you see visibilities around a quarter mile or less, that is generally considered heavy snow. And we have that through a good stretch here from the coastline into Rochester and all the way back through the Monadnock region. Even in Lebanon, where the snow has been relatively light in intensity there, now starting to pick up again. So you see that half-mile reading there. That's a sign that the snow is starting to come down at a heavier clip. And of course, this kind of snow is very heavy, wet, pasty. It clings to the tree branches, the power lines. That's why we have over 77,000 outages at this point. And unfortunately, that number may even climb as areas that have just been hit so hard continue to get a few more inches of that very heavy snow. And of course, it's also trouble for those of you who have to shovel and use the snowblower later on, because this is going to be really tough stuff to move around. You want to make sure you're taking frequent breaks. Probably a good idea to have just a bottle of water out there and just make sure you're staying hydrated. This is our nor'easter right here. It has really gotten its act together from when we were talking this time yesterday. There were kind of two pieces of energy separated. Now those have combined, and we have a pretty tight spinning area of low pressure in the Gulf of Maine. Out in the open waters of the Atlantic, there's a line of some thunderstorms. You might even be able to see the lightning there. So that's a sign that this storm is still actually intensifying. And the track of the storm is so interesting too, because normally with nor'easters, you know, they ride up near the coastline and then start to move into the Canadian Maritimes. This system is almost starting to back in toward the New England coastline, and it'll do sort of this loop motion before finally pulling away tomorrow. And that's what's going to keep several more hours of snow and wind here across much of New England. And of course, here in New Hampshire, we've been getting pretty hard, especially up in elevation. So there's that heavier band of snow right now from Rye into Portsmouth. The Dover and Durham area have been seeing some bands of moderate snow for the past couple of hours. Through Exeter, Epping, Raymond, Auburn, and even farther north into, say, the Chichester and Epsom region. Concord right now, the capital city, kind of in and out of some of those heavier bands. You see the dark blue colors here. Those are those big fat snowflakes being picked up by the radar beam. So that's when you know it's coming down heavy, the visibility is reduced, and with those big flakes, they start to pile up quickly. Certainly elevation has been a huge part of the storm, right? You go up even just 500 feet, 1,000 feet up, the snow totals really start to pile up, and they are still getting hit very hard in the Monadnock region, where I'm very confident that a lot of our power outages are stemming from this region. You know, when you have 1 to 2 feet of very heavy snow weighing down on everything, it's really hard to avoid situations like this. And of course, the wind not doing us many favors. Lakes region, Upper Valley right now, still seeing those bands of moderate snow, and certainly the intensity of the snow is much lighter through parts of the North Country, especially in and around the White Mountains. The Presidential Range points south through Evans Notch and Pinkham Notch. Also on the backside of the White Mountains, and to say the Franconia, Sugar Hill area, Littleton and Lancaster, the snow not quite as heavy there, but the banding has been pretty impressive in northeastern Vermont, and this may, if anything, just try and slide back and fill in these areas in just a little while. So if you haven't had much snow up north, remember there's still several more hours of light to at times moderate snow still to come. So high travel impacts continue. Snow-covered roads not going to be fun to drive on, certainly through most of tonight. By tomorrow, the snow intensity does start to wane. So I think at that point, we'll see much better conditions. The road crews will be able to really start to get control of things here. Really hard for them to take control of the roads right now with snowfall rates at times over 1 to 2 inches per hour. Certainly by tomorrow afternoon, really this time tomorrow, things are just so much better out there. If you can wait to travel until Wednesday, that's probably your best bet. So the bands of snow just continue off and on next several hours here, where you have the heavy snow falling falling, it's probably going to continue to fall at a pretty moderate to heavy clip through later on this evening and through at least the wee hours of tomorrow morning. At this point, the storm is starting to pull away, so the snow intensity will wane. The winds turn more from the northwest, so that will help the situation along the immediate coastline where the high tide cycles could create some splashover in just a couple hours. Some additional snow continues through the northern and western summits of the White Mountains and in parts of the North Country. Even that should taper off as we get through Wednesday. The area of low pressure finally pulls away by tomorrow afternoon. We may see some sun, especially downwind of the mountains, later on Wednesday, and certainly by Thursday and Friday we are going to be treated to some very pleasant conditions. How did temperatures in the 40s sound, with at least some sunshine on Thursday, perhaps the chance of a few more rain showers, especially in southern areas for Friday. So this is the snow still to come in the high terrain of southwestern New Hampshire, as well as up in the White Mountains, 4 to 8 more inches. So those of you who have already seen 1.5 feet of snow, you'll probably get close to 20, 22, 24 inches when we shut things off by tomorrow. A general 2 to 4, perhaps some isolated 5 to 6 amounts elsewhere, and a little bit lighter amounts through some of the sheltered valleys through the, say, upper valley and northwestern edges of the White Mountains. Now, the wind has been relatively tame to this point, right? The winds have not been such a huge problem, but they will gust in the next couple of hours close to 40 miles per hour. Rochester down through the immediate coastline, wind gusts 25 to 30 elsewhere, and it will stay breezy through most of tomorrow. So Jamie and Monica, we still have probably a good, say, 12 to 16 hours of snow, wind, and coastal impacts still to come, but then we are rewarded with some really nice weather in time for late week.
So Matt, just to clarify, people looking outside their windows are seeing heavy snow in most parts of the state and a solid wind, and that status quo through the evening hours?
Yeah, I think so, certainly. You know, the intensity of the snow is going to continue to be moderate to heavy. We'll probably add on several more inches of accumulation. And then as the storm starts to pull away and lose at least a little bit of energy by early tomorrow, that's when the intensity wanes around daybreak Wednesday, and certainly vastly improved conditions by even, say, mid to late morning tomorrow.